And another piece is being completed here.
10.
Pardon?
10.
10? Okay. I'm going to let you and Chris wrestle for that answer later. But it's glad to see everybody here. Yesterday, as we were preparing for this event, Tim Christman and I were down here. Tim is the team leader with our recreation crew. As we walked across the bridge, we looked downstream, and about 150 yards away, there was a bald eagle sitting on a tree down there. We walked down to a fairly close vantage and watched as it left. It flew up over the bridge and kept on going. And when we came back and got to the middle of the bridge again, we saw it tucked down on that little snag you can see over there. I never expected 40 years ago that I would see another eagle in Whitehall Township.
You get a sign for that.
And because of the work of a lot of good people over the years, a lot of good organizations, specifically those environmental groups associated with Pennsylvania in this instance, we have brought things back from the brink of extinction. And I think this kind of program that we have here adds to our appreciation and benefits that we can enjoy because the environment is much cleaner than it had been. So to those of people who are out there saying the government can't do anything right, I beg to differ, and this is one prime example of what government can do when we're committed to it. There are a couple of people hiding out here that I'd like to introduce, one of whom is Jeff Warren, who's one of our Whitehall Township Commissioners. Hold your applause until after I introduce everybody. Phil Ginder is here, also one of our members of our board. I'm not seeing where he snuck off to. There he is back there. We have Mick D representing legislator Representative McNeil, and Carl Lagler, our surveyor, who's done a lot of work on this project for us. Tony Coca, our recreation director, is here also. He's been very helpful in getting things together today. Lots of people out there that I'm not going to get to, but I don't want to miss Chris Stroller, who is employed by the Wildlands Conservancy. He's done a great job of bringing me up to speed as I've come into office here. And I don't see anybody else. Scott Cope from the Wildlands Conservancy. We want to make sure everybody knows the Wildlands people because they've done such a great job throughout this community over the years. And being a Whitehall guy, I've got to make sure that we give Chris all the credit we can for everything. Jeff Reese from the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission is here with us today also. So I know I've forgotten somebody out there. My apologies. Because apparently someone has stolen our podium, I will be managing pieces of paper as we go on. But I'm glad you're all here, and the first person I would like to ask to say a few words, and one of the most important people involved with this project, is our ex-mayor, Ed Hoza, who has gone down to Lehigh County to be the Director of Administration for Phil Armstrong, our Lehigh County executive. Ed shepherded this project from Whitehall's position for quite a few years. And Ed, I'd like you to say a few words if you wouldn't mind. Now you make class.
Thank you, Mayor. I actually gave my speech to my boss, so Phil Armstrong. Phil will recognize everyone that I probably forget. But there's a gentleman standing in the back, and he was the one that came to my office about 10 years ago and pitched this Jordan Greenway trail to me, and his name is Scott Cope from the Wildlands Conservancy. So thank you, Scott. He also assisted in helping to write the original DCNR grant for this project. I cannot thank enough everyone that Phil will mention in his remarks that it really was, and you'll hear this, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears a lot of get the grant, then we don't have the grant. Not the DCNR side, it was the PennDOT side. But we overcame it, and that was also with the help, and Becky's not here, and Mike Donchez and from the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission that truly helped with that PennDOT TAP grant that got this project rolling. There's one side effect of this project that I never anticipated. It's a wonderful trail, a wonderful connector to the Lehigh County property across from Mickley Road that already has a finished section of Jordan Greenway Trail. But it was a telephone call that I received from a resident of one of the condos here. And of course, when I got the phone call, I thought, okay, here we go. I don't want a trail in my backyard. I don't want a bridge in my backyard. But she brought up an interesting point. She said, thank you, Mayor. I now can walk to the Rite Aid. You have to remember, the people that live here have to go all the way back onto MacArthur Road and take the jug handle at Home Depot to turn around, to come back, to shop in a store that's right over here. And for many of these residents here, they now can walk, not only to shop, but they and a lot of their children can now hop on this trail, go through the Lehigh County section, or go up to their friends that live off of Presidential Drive. So in addition to being a recreational use, it's also an economic driver in that one day we'll see, and I think there may be, people that live on this side of Whitehall being able to bike to work if they live or they work in downtown Allentown. And that is part of the trail network that we're building here in the Lehigh Valley and Lehigh County, but also I think throughout the state. So I thank you all. The weather, I said to my good friend from Flyway Excavating, the weather today is very similar to everything that we went through during construction. We had floods, monsoons, wind, and even snowstorms. But somehow this project got done, and it's a testament to the state of Pennsylvania, to DCNR, also to PennDOT, and to a lot of hardworking people, and I thank you.
I have a lot of nice things to say about Phil, and I have them all written down here, but because this won't stay still, let me just say that I've known Phil for probably 40 years. He taught with my wife for much of that. And Phil has been a very successful guy, a great basketball coach and tennis coach. But more importantly, he is the past chair of our Board of Commissioners. He has done a great job representing Whitehall, and now that he's down at the county, I'm eager to introduce Phil Armstrong.
Thank you very much, Mike. I go over my speech with Ed, and then he gives it. But we'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. This is really a great crowd for a great occasion. One of the things I have been preaching about as Lehigh County Executive is quality of life. Why this area separates us from all the other areas is these kinds of things. And it's because of people, as it's been mentioned before, that have worked so hard to make this possible. What I want to make sure I do here is recognize all of those people, starting with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. Cindy Dunn, thank you for the $433,000 DCNR grant for this project. Without that to start with, we wouldn't be here. So thank you, Cindy. While she could not be here today, the Secretary of PennDOT, Leslie Richards, for the grant funding from the former TAP program, where we got close to $1 million. We want to thank PennDOT District 5 Michael Reppert, Krister Barry of McCormick Taylor Consultant for PennDOT, Randy Altimos, the best PennDOT project coordinator in PennDOT District 5. Ed wrote that. While he could not be here today, the Secretary of the Department of Environmental Protection, John Quigley, for his assistance in granting the permitting. The design, engineering, and permitting firm for the project, Spots, Stevens, and McCoy, and their lead on the project, Mark Stabolowski. That's a Scranton name. I'll tell you what, I grew up with names like that. Okay. Wildlands Conservancy, definitely Chris Cooker and his team. Chris Stroller for his assistant in the Jordan Greenway Trail Plan. Scott Cope for his assisting former Mayor Whitehall, Ed Hosa, with pitching the plan and getting him through the DCNR grant. This would have been better if we had a podium. The team of Flyway Excavating of Lidditz, Pennsylvania. See, not just chocolate comes from Lidditz, okay? The actual construction work on building the trail and setting the pedestrian bridge and the removal of the 3 dams. Definitely thank you to the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, Director Becky Bradley, Mike Donchez with the TAP grant, Teresa Mackey and Jeff Reese, naturally with the open space and parks and recreation planning. And one final thank you to the Lehigh County for granting the west bank of the Jordan Creek to Whitehall Township for this trail.
We can give it back.
This is just another step in achieving the ultimate design, the plan of the Jordan Greenway Trail that, when completed, will connect Allentown North through the Whitehalls to the Lehigh Valley Zoo and one day to the Blue Mountain. To everyone responsible, the hard work, and as Ed already said, the blood, sweat, and sometimes tears, this section is completed. And again, it adds to the value and the quality of life. And just personally, riding my bike to work, I live up near the Whitehall High School, trying to get into downtown Allentown, I rode my bike all the way over to Fullerton, Front Street, down. I can't wait to come down through Presidential Village and use this. It should take 20 minutes. So I appreciate this just personally. So thank you to everyone involved. And please come down now and look for that bald eagle, okay?
We have one more Whitehall guy here to say good things about him. Chris has done a remarkable job over the past 15 years working with the Wildlands Conservancy. It's been a great organization for a long time, and they've done so much good throughout the valley and throughout all of Pennsylvania. He's been known widely as a conservationist and has been awarded many times for the work that he's done, and we're very proud of him as residents of Whitehall. And now, instead of belaboring this, let me just give you this.
Thank you, Mayor Harrell. Appreciate you all coming out today. Obviously, it's a great day. A lot of thanks for all the folks that have been involved. I think we're at the critical mass, though, of Whitehall. Folks up at the podium before. Some of you might not know the impact that Mayor Harrell actually had in my life. Growing up in the town of Egypt, which is part of Whitehall, I was inspired by his ability to protect 110 acres called the Whitehall Parkway back in the late 80s. And I didn't really understand the value of open space at the time, but loved nature and loved being outside and wanted to make my career one that would forward those initiatives. And that acquisition to take that piece of property that was going to become a landfill and protect this open space was very important for me in directing me into the career of conservation. So thank you so much for that work and really being a leader when it comes to open space protection throughout the region. Whitehall Township has been an amazing advocate not only for this project but for others. Former Mayor Hoza, appreciate all your time, effort, and energy into this, and obviously Mayor Harrickle for seeing this into fruition. Whitehall has been an amazing partner throughout this process. The county also has been an amazing partner. We have 4 miles of connected trail now as a result of the cooperation between the City of Allentown, Whitehall Township, and Lehigh County. Obviously, plans are underway to complete the full 12-mile section of the Jordan Creek Greenway up to the Trexler Nature Preserve. And it's examples that Whitehall Township and Lehigh County and South Whitehall Township are making here in this community that others hopefully will be inspired to make these critical trail connections possible. And our goal overall is to have a network of connected greenways and trails so that everyone can bike to work and everyone has a chance to experience the wonderful nature that's right here in the Lehigh Valley. And I think projects like this go a huge way to improve our quality of life and quality of place right here in our community. In addition to Whitehall Township and Lehigh County, the Trexler Trust has been an amazing advocate for this project, even early on. You say a decade, former Mayor Jose, it might be closer to 12 or 14 years, but anyway, a long time effort, and the Trexler Trust has been there the entire time. And they were advocates from the very beginning, along with the Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources. We are truly blessed to have agencies and organizations that understand the value of protected open space, understand the value of trails, and are willing to invest in our community to make sure these quality of life and quality of place projects happen right here in the community. So we appreciate DCNR's long-standing support of this as well. Jeff Reese was mentioned at Lehigh Valley Planning Commission. I also want to mention Lisa Garofalo for her work of the DNL Heritage Corridor. Again, working in partnership with Wildlands Conservancy and a whole host of other partners, not only on the Jordan Greenway, but also on the Spine, the DNL Trail. And think about this community with these interconnected green spaces, not only that are important for people, but also important for wildlife as well. So this project is obviously significant because of the impact it's going to have on recreation and quality of life here in Whitehall Township. But we think about this work and inspiring other work throughout the Lehigh Valley. And I grew up here in Whitehall. I've lived here my entire life. And it's because of these types of projects that I'm going to stay in this region. Because I want to be in a community that has trails and has open space and has these quality of life projects and clean water and healthy natural resources. And guess what? People are attracted to that, and businesses are attracted to that as well. So these projects are not only important to the environment and our quality of life, they're also important to the economy as well. So thank you all for being part of today. Thank you all for being part of really what makes this community so special, which is its natural resources. Wildlands Conservancy is thrilled to be your partner in this effort and many others to improve the quality of life and quality of place right here in the community. Thanks so much.
Mayor Harrickle, can we make sure the gentleman can come across if he's trying to get to work or something, maybe?
No,
Yeah.
Stand it over there. Come on through.
Thanks. He's been waiting.
Everybody can see.
I don't think he would have to
This
go
is
to
why
work.
we do it, right?
It's the one we've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Running a little late for work, but I take this every day. It's really nice, clean. Don't have an issue with anybody, and I take this to prevent $40.
Sorry,
If you need an excuse, have them call the mayor's office.
By the way, I want to say, I think that Chris makes a great president of the Wildlands Conservancy, but down the road, I think he might make a good secretary of DCNR. We have a representative of the Trexler Trust here with us, Jamie Musselman, and I would like her to say a few words.
On behalf of my co-trustees, Malcolm Gross, Barnett Frankel, Charlie Marcon, Scott Pitcock, pleased to be able to be here to celebrate the opening of this trail in Jordan Creek Parkway. General Trexler, if you remember, was an amazing outdoorsman. He loved nature, animals, flowers, crops, and especially open space. He recognized the need for each of us to have access to the natural environment. He gave the city residents of Allentown the Allentown Park System and the Trexler Nature Preserve for all of Lehigh County residents. Connecting these two, the Allentown Parks and the Trexler Nature Preserve, with the Jordan Creek Greenway is consistent with the General's own history. He was well known for creating complementary partnerships, just like those that the Wildlands Conservancy has forged. When this project was first conceived, property ownership and maintenance were expected to be under one entity. But the Wildlands soon discovered that the greater power of partnering with other agencies was the way to go. Whitehall Township has proven to be a most effective and enthusiastic partner. And for that, we thank our former mayor of Whitehall and our current mayor. Thank you. The County of Lehigh has been a staunch supporter throughout this process, providing significant guidance and expertise. We're honored that the Cindy Adams Dunn, Secretary of Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, is able to help us open another portion of this trail. Trexler is appreciative of the work of Lauren Possinger and our state's regional team at DCNR. Without the aid of DCNR, much of this vision would remain unrealized. And we thank Chris Coker and the Wildlands Conservancy for conceiving of this ambitious project and working dedicatedly towards its completion. The obstacles, both physical and conceptual, that you have overcome are remarkable. This visionary project along the Jordan Creek has substantially increased outdoor recreational opportunities for our Lehigh County community. Today's dedication of another Whitehall Township portion of this, Today's dedication of this part of the trail opens greater possibilities for all of us to enjoy. Thank you to all the partners, Whitehall Township, Lehigh County, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and DCNR, and the Wildlands Conservancy. Trexler Trust is honored to be able to be part of this major accomplishment. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I am going to have to read a bit about the most important person here. On June 2nd, 2015, Governor Tom Wolf appointed Cindy Adams Dunn to be the 6th Secretary of the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, returning to the agency where she worked under 3 governors in multiple positions. The Pennsylvania Senate unanimously confirmed Dunn as Secretary of DCNR on June 2nd, 2015. Before returning to the DCNR, she was the president and CEO of Penn Future, a statewide environmental advocacy organization. Dunn had served as DCNR's Deputy Secretary of Conservation and Technical Services from 2007 to 2013, where she led DCNR's Conservation Landscape Program and oversaw the Community Conservation Partnerships Grant Program, providing $30 to $60 million annually for conservation and recreation throughout the Commonwealth. Dunn was also DCNR's Director of the Bureau of Recreation and Conservation, as well as the Director of Office of Education, Communication, and Partnerships, the Director of Community Relations and Environmental Education. Dunn's other leadership roles include serving as the Executive Director of Audubon, Pennsylvania from 1997 to 2003, and as the Pennsylvania Program Director for the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay for 10 years. Over the years, Dunn has been recognized with numerous awards for her leadership in conservation, including the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay's Fancy Flanagan Environmental Leadership Award, Pennsylvania Federation of Sportsmen's Clubs, and Pennsylvania Wildlife Federation Conservationist of the Year. Cumberland County Conservation District Conservationist of the Year. The Appalachian Audubon Society Conservationist of the Year. She holds a bachelor's and master's degree in biology from Shippensburg University. She and her husband Craig reside in Cumberland County, and when not championing the efforts of DCNR, Dunn enjoys the natural and recreation resources the agency works hard to protect and promote through hobbies that include birding, canoeing, fishing, and hiking. If your husband wants to get rid of you, I'll take over. It's quite a resume. I'd like to introduce Cindy Adams Dunn.
How's your J stroke? Anyway, it's great to be here. I apologize ahead of time for my voice. It was a little tempting, I'll admit, to turn over and go back to bed this morning with this laryngitis. But I did not want to miss this. I mean, these kind of events are the best part of my job. And there's so much dividing our world right now, and there's so much strife and so many divisive things happening in the news. And I know that events like this, and I know this project, bring people together. This nexus of local townships and counties, state government, civic leadership, philanthropy, interested citizens and civic leaders is the best thing that's happening in Pennsylvania. It's just wonderful to be here. It came out this morning. We made a couple stops in the Lehigh Valley, and Lauren Emgren, our deputy, and Diane Krippus has been our leader in Lehigh Valley for so long, and I were reminiscing about the start of the Lehigh Valley Greenway, our conservation landscape project out here. I don't want to get between the county and the city on how long ago that was. I'm just going to say 13 years. One is 10, one is 12. No, 11 years. So, however many years ago that was, the Pennsylvania DCNR, under the leadership of Michael D. Berdinas, chose 7 landscapes. Lehigh Valley was one because of the good start of the work you had out here. And we decided to make the Lehigh Valley Greenway the partnership and the pilot that informed the formation of the rest of them because of some of the structure and interest you had out here, the need to link all the green spaces, to take what's left of the green spaces in this wonderful landscape, the Lehigh Valley, and connect them. And I remember a tour at this very spot. I remember because of the pond there with the ducks and geese. Of course, as you might guess, I was looking at the birds. But we were, Chris and Diane and a bunch of people standing here were in a lineup, and traffic was passing us and beeping at us, and we were trying to check out the trail location where the connector would be, where it had to cross. And I thought to myself at the time, this looks like a pretty difficult project. I mean, it's not going to be easy. But it's neat to see the progress here. I know we at DCNR, Lauren Possinger from our regional staff, Christine DeTore, Rob Neitz, Jacobsburg is one of our co-leads out here. It's very gratifying to us to see the progress being made throughout the valley. We obviously couldn't do it without the partners, Lisa Garofalo, Claire Sadler, who leads for us, and the external lead. And all the other partners have been mentioned here. This partnership makes it happen. It couldn't happen without a strong planning commission and linkages here, and the common vision people all hold for this incredible place, the bringing together and linking all the green. And it is super gratifying to me. I will say this about Governor Tom Wolf. His favorite pastime, when he's not busy on the road governing, is walking on the York Heritage Trail. And we had this cabinet meeting about a year ago where the question came up, he raises these questions, what do citizens really want from state government in Pennsylvania? And maybe because I'm either naturally a big mouth, or maybe because I'm a little compared to smaller agencies, right? So I have to, be a little louder. So I jump up and say, they want trails connecting the communities, So that got, put on a flip chart. And the governor stood up that flip chart himself and filled out all the values they bring. I mean, the health, the wellness, the community to work, the economic value, etc. So, well, that's good. It's always a good thing. And Leslie Richards, our secretary at PennDOT, a past Montgomery County commissioner, is avidly interested in trails. I don't know if you've been watching PennDOT, but you're really seeing a strong interest, a strong meaning through PennDOT Connects and all the programs she has and all the talent she's got in staff to do what PennDOT can to really bring these connections to bear. I'm very pleased and proud of the Keystone Funds, DCNR, is able to contribute to this. And interestingly enough, I don't want to challenge the county, but the grant grew a little bit in this presentation, but you know, I think it's a good strategy. I have to remember that one. But anyway, significant grant from the Keystone Fund. I'll take the time to explain where that comes from. That's a realty transfer tax. And so when people challenge state government money being used, I mean, just know that that's a realty transfer tax passed by the citizens, overwhelming vote in the ballot, overwhelming support from the legislature in 1993. A small portion of realty transfer tax goes to things like this, to trails and connectivity, to land, to community parks, and that's something very supported by our citizens and very essential. So our Keystone Fund, that's just experiencing its 25th anniversary, is often a synergist for the larger PennDOT funds or DCED funds. So it's a very important workhorse fund. If you ever are in a situation where you hear it's being challenged, as it is occasionally, please speak up for it. Thankfully, together with your voice and others, we fended off an attack on it just last fall. So, be forever vigilant. I will say this. I will end this with this one thought. I was just, like I said, the best part of this job is traveling around the state and meeting with people like you and communities like yours. I was in Fayette County, and if you look at the statistics, Fayette County has some of the highest poverty rates. Has a lot of things going on that need a lot of support and attention. I was sitting with a township supervisor, ex-military guy, a Marine, talking to him about his work and seeing the needs down there. And frankly, at a glance, didn't look like a very emotional guy, just the way he carried himself. But as he opened up, he said in 40 years of being a township supervisor, and he was emotional with this, the thing he did that his citizens and his residents thanked him for the most was to build a bridge to connect a trail, the Ghost Town Trail, across a creek. He said got more positive enforcement on that, more citizens just thanking him for that action than anything he's had in 40 years, and it means a lot to him. So we'll make him a trail emissary for us in that region, but it just shows, when people ask the question, what do people want from government? They want you to solve difficult problems like this, like getting a trail across a stream or connecting a trail so they can get to work on a bike, like the young man who just came through, or they can go out for a walk right after work with their kids, or they can maybe open a business and have some stability because trail users are stopping by. So again, it's wonderful for us. I'd say I'm the least important person here. I show up at things like this, but I really enjoy it. It's a thing that really energizes me and keeps us motivated to continue serving Pennsylvania's communities. So thanks for including us. Great to see the progress you've all made. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'd like to close with a brief advertisement for Whitehall, because Whitehall's been known inappropriately, I think, as the Lehigh Valley Mall and the strip along MacArthur Road, and we're much more than that. We had the first curbside recycling program in the state. We've done our best to develop a wonderful series of 9 playgrounds over the past many years. We have the Grimm House, a historic building just to the left of us, or to the south of us along this road. We have the grist mill down there. We have the Troxel Steckel House. We have, as was mentioned earlier, a great parkway up there. And we are doing everything we can in concert with our sewer authority. We spent $15 million improving our sewer system so that we didn't have anything pouring into this creek or any others in this township. We hope that everybody can work together to put environment at the forefront of our efforts politically so that we can turn the Lehigh Valley into a very shining star in this country. Thank you all for being here, and I'm sure the secretary would be willing to sign any autographs that you would like. Thank you very much. Time to cut the ribbon.
pull it tight for you.
Countdown.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ta-da!
I did, but I kept getting the...
I thought you were trying to wave it down here, and I was like, wow. I
I will take that one.
Are you going?
Yeah.
Who do you want in there?
Oh, there. The player. Where's Mark?
He was the design engineer.
Mark. The pitcher. The key players in this project.
I'm very nervous about it.
Well, there you have it. The dedication of another section of the Jordan Trail Greenway system. And this is Easy Biker. And that should be it. Okay? Happy trails.